So I want this one to start with a quote, a quote that I've kind of followed for quite a while, and I do believe it, and I do my best to live my life by it. It's a quote by Mark Twain, and it says, and I always keep forgetting it, so that's why I've got it on my phone. Keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that. But the really great make you feel that you too can become great. And it's a quote that I've always followed for quite some time, because it's always nice to be rewarded or complimented for work that you do, whether it be something to do with your job or whether it's something to do with in life or anything like that. It's always nice. It's the do unto do others sort of phase, but I like that quote better. It's much better. And it all really sort of stems from working in a place years ago. I mean, I'm talking 8 or 9 years ago, and there were people there who were quite happy to work in and walk over people, walk over staff, walk over friends and colleagues, just so they could get a promotion. And it's that sort of thing that really sort of gets to me, because it's like, how do you go home at night knowing that you've either upset somebody or you've caused somebody more aggro in their own, whether it working life or personal life, just so you can get in a better position. And I know there's a lot of stuff you could talk about, sort of alpha scenario, alpha male, alpha female, and the strongest always win and things like that. But why does it have to be a battle? That's the thing that I always like to question, And this concept of grudges and when people hold stuff so much that they've got to try and make you feel really shitty. I mean, I've had it a couple of times with this business, where, I mean, they don't get to me anymore. They do for a short time, but that's just human. But I've had people who have not been happy, and of course I'm gonna have a few clients that are not happy, because I'm not perfect. I can make mistakes, But it's those who have got so much pride in their lives that they can't accept when they're wrong. Now, I used to be like that. I used to be very, very full of pride, and that never sort of put me in a really good position. It made me more enemies than it did friends. And, I mean, I'm talking about 10, 15 years ago, and to have that pride and to hold those grudges, you don't get anywhere in life, because it comes back to bite you on your ass very, very quickly. And I've had it once or twice in this business, where I've had some really bad clients, and they've almost threatened to try and close me down just so they can prove a point. And it's like, well, I know that you're not happy. The services that I've used in the past where I haven't been happy and I've complained and what have you. But I never want the company to close down just so I can be really smug and go, well, we wasn't happy with your service, so we're going to destroy you now, But I mean, that's a small thing. That's just sort of something relating to this business. But going back to the the Twain's quote regarding people belittling your ambitions. I've always fought with my life with extreme ideas. I've always wanted to do something different. And in my previous job, before I started this job, There was a lot of ideas that were panned around, and it was always a case of brainstorming ideas and seeing what we can do with certain marketing techniques and things like that. And I'd have an extreme idea without even thinking of budget or anything like that. I'd just go, this would be really cool to do. Could we give it a go, or at least work something out? No. Why? Well, because it's silly. It's a stupid idea. Why would you ever think that would work? And it's not about being rejected for ideas. That in itself, if they said, is it justifiable? Could we do this? What's the outcome? Things like that. These are great questions to ask, But it's the ones that sit there and say, your ideas are stupid. I mean, no ideas are stupid. Well, no, I'm gonna get some comments if by saying that there's no ideas stupid. There's probably some really stupid ideas out there, but you never know what ideas could actually be the next big thing. And those people I find who constantly insult people for having aspirations, they really do offend me, and I try to avoid them the best I can, because you should be able to express your own ideas and thoughts and feelings without being insulted by people who don't either share your opinion, are not interested in the same level of creativity, or they literally don't have no life themselves. I don't know a better way to put it. I'm sure there's a better way to say it, but there's those who just don't literally have a life, and they're a sheep to the world, and you're different, so in which case I've got to knock you down to make me feel better, and I hate that. I just, it really, really winds me up. I mean, there's a few people that are very close to me, and they say to me all the time, oh, every time I've got this idea for this, that, and the other, my mother or my or a family, another family member, or or a friend or work colleague or something, it says, oh, it's such a stupid idea. Why would you ever want to do that? Why? What is the point? And it's like, and these said people end up sort of like crawling into a ball and not being creative, and basically getting into their heads that what they're thinking is wrong. And I'm not just talking creativity here. I'm talking about anything in life, whether it's a case of like, oh, I want to eat potatoes for the rest of my life, what a crazy idea. You're so mental, and it's like, well, you might as well try it. Try eating potatoes all day and see how it goes. And then later on you go, well, that was a failed idea, but at least I tried it and gave it a go and seen where I could experiment and learn and grow and develop, People say to me regarding my ability in video and what have you, and they say, how did you learn all this? And I went, by making mistakes, by trying things out, by keep testing the waters and seeing what works. And if it didn't work, it didn't work. Sometimes I've looked back at things and gone, that was a really silly idea. But I'd never turn around and sort of say to people who have the same ideas, going, nah, there's no point doing that. That's rubbish. Because that doesn't make them feel better, and it makes them feel stupid. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to people at all. I mean, there are times I've got really frustrated, obviously, and said things I don't mean, but that's human, at the end of the day. But I think what it boils down to in the end is those people who I find they don't even realise they're doing that, I suppose, that they insult people on anything to make themselves feel better because they're not happy with their own lives. And that really annoys me. And it's like, it's one of those things, like, even if you're one of these people that's watching this video, and you are one of those people that you just laugh at other people's ideas and thoughts and designs and what they want to do, just take a really hard look of how, when you've had an extreme idea, and how you would feel if somebody, every time you came up with an idea and you wanted to grow and develop, and someone came around and insulted you for coming up with ideas, how would you feel with that? And that makes me feel shitty. If I was like that to people all the time, I wouldn't get on with the world, I'd probably wouldn't have a job hiding in a hole somewhere, But it's the difficulty is trying to get past that. But I mean, it's taken years for me to try and do so. But it's definitely down to that thing of not to insult people for having ideas. I feel like I'm going around in a loop now, but that's kind of where I'm going with it, I suppose. It's probably a sign I should wind up this video. But share your extreme ideas. Try them out. Try something. Do something different. And if you ever get those people who are trying to knock you back for just the simplest things, just so that they feel better, just keep in the back of your head that you are the most creative person in your world. And your ideas, you might not know what you want. You might not know what your end game is for anything. But if you don't try, then you'll spend most of your time agreeing with the person who's knocking you down. And then that person walks around with the rest of their lives thinking, yeah, I feel great about myself because I've got no one who is more extreme than I am because I've knocked them down, Just let them be. Let them do that and their little ball of spite and negativity, Let them go and do that. Don't let it bother you. And that's it. I think that's where I'm coming to this. Come to the end of this video with that, Keep dreaming. Definitely.